What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. And today we got a live stream. We are here talking birds, a little bit about the Week 10 matchup, Eagles versus Commanders, round two. We also got the power rankings. We'll be talking Devonta Smith comments, all that and more. But shout out to Notification Gang. We already got 20 people in the building. Let's play the intro.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's I like. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, we showing up and we gon' fight. You see, we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Like I said, Philly Mike here with a live stream. If you are catching this on the playback, still do your boy a favor. Y'all the best in the industry. Hit that like button. It's free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing. Subscribe, ding the bell. Check the link in the description for the people that are here live. Maybe throughout the live, I'll post it in the pinned comment. But listen, we got Android availability for the Chalkboard app where we chop it up behind the YouTube scenes. You got a question for Philly Mike? I'll be there. You got a question for Eagle fans in general? They'll be there. Definitely check that out. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, check the link in the description. It is free for both iPhone users and Android users. Again, shout out to Notification Gang. We trying to grow that. We in here 50 deep already. Texas Beast, Fibbox, 3, Enzo Bot. We got Philly D, Dave is lit, Giordano, D-Mac, Mariano, Ethan. Shout out to everybody in the building. Fly, Tommy, Neil, Superhero, Chino. If I missed you, my bad. Cardboard Carolina, Gate City's brother. Shout out to him. Longtime supporter of Battlebirds podcast. But we going to chop it up today, again, about this NFC East matchup for Week 10. I got a round table with all the NFC East content creators slash, it's the NFC Beast now. Even the Washington Commanders are fighting for a seventh, the last spot of the playoffs. We'll talk about all that. But I want to get into the power rankings first. The power rankings, let's pull it up real quick. As you can see on the thumbnail, on the thumbnail, it shows where the Eagles officially rank. And now everybody has it, right? ESPN, all these different networks do their own power rankings. But ESPN got the Eagles at number 1. Number 2 is the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 3 is the Buffalo Bills. Dropped a little bit after losing to the New York Jets, who is a pretty good team. They're not slouches. They only lost 3 games. Number 4, you got Minnesota Vikings, a team that the Eagles beat, but do not get credit for beating because we played Kirk Cousins on prime time. Well, guess what? So if a team knocks them out in the playoffs, it doesn't count because playoffs are all prime time. So Kirk Cousins got to get used to it sooner rather than later. They're still a 7-1 team, number 2 in the conference, number 2 overall. No, you got Kansas City, who only lost 1 game as well. Oh, no, Kansas City lost 2. So Buffalo lost 2, Dallas lost 2, Kansas City lost 2. There's only 1 undefeated team and only one lost team, and that is the Minnesota Vikings. ESPN Power Rankings got the Dallas Cowboys at number 5. That's the funny thing. When Cooper Rush was the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, guess where they were? 5 or 6. Now Dak Prescott is the quarterback. Guess where they are? 5 or 6. They didn't change. Cooper Rush threw 3 interceptions against the Eagles. That didn't happen in the other 4 starts he did. Again, it's all about a narrative. Power Rankings got the Cowboys the same. Didn't really go up or down with the addition of Dak Prescott. Now they're talking about Odell Beckham. We will see. Number 6, they got the Miami Dolphins. Rightfully so. They haven't lost when Tua is available for the whole game. Number 7, they got Baltimore Ravens, who've been playing better at late. Every game they played, it was close. They were just choking at the end against the Daniel Jones-led Giants, against a couple teams where they should have won. But that team still, when healthy, is going to be about a top 10 team. New York Jets sneaking into the top 10 at number 8. Seattle Seahawks led by Geno Smith at number 9. And San Francisco 49ers, a team that could cause the Eagles trouble in the playoffs if they get to full health and get things going, because Debo, Kittle, the offensive line, the run game, the play caller, and that defensive pass rush is something when all healthy. But again, the Eagles this week, after dusting off the Texans, and I don't care what people say, it wasn't a struggle. Okay, we came off a bye, had to play home, and then had a short week against the Texans in Houston. We came out to a slow start. But when you win by double digits, you win by double digits. We were 14-point favorites and we won by 12, close to the spread. So it is what it is. Other teams, like the Chiefs, number 2 on this list, lost to the Indianapolis Colts when they are kind of in the same house as the Texans. Prior to that game, the Texans and the Colts tied each other. The tie for the Colts and the tie for the Texans are because they both in the same boat. We struggled in the first half and then turned it on in the second and beat them by double digits, where the Chiefs lost to the Colts outright. Come on, that got to count for something. It got to count for something. Now, we are also going to talk about Devonta Smith's comments on playing in Philadelphia. He also talked about his statistics, and you know what? Sorry about your fantasy teams, but I don't care. I'm all about the dubs, and I love how he does that. We'll talk about it. Shout out to my guy, D Mac, for joining the Philly Talk 24/7 channel membership. Appreciate the love.
EAGLES Eagles!
Show Enough said, Philly Mike, what's going on? What's up with you? He said, OBJ not going to the Cowbums. He can't cut on his knee yet. That's the thing. I hear Cowboy fans talking about we need OBJ because Gallup ain't right off the ACL. If Gallup ain't right off the ACL, why do you think Odell Beckham's just going to be A-OK off the same type of injury? Mind you, Odell suffered that later than Gallup. Gallup was sometime during the season. OBJ's was in the Super Bowl. So I don't really want to hear it. I don't really care if he goes there, but it will be funny to get all their hopes up just to let it crumble. A1, what's going on with you? Superhero says, shout out to Geno Smith. That's such a good NFL story. That is facts. Geno Smith, a guy who's just been bounced around, getting punched in the face in the locker room, not being able to win the locker room for the Jets. He was on the Giants, a couple places, comes out and now is leading the Seattle Seahawks, who don't got no defense, to a couple big-time wins, and they're inside the top 10 with that number 9 spot, according to ESPN. I agree. It's good to see any good story. And Jalen Hurts is not just a good story, it's a great story. He's been counting out his whole life. And to me, if the MVP voted had to happen right now with Josh Allen, poor performance against the Jets, with the Chiefs barely beating the Titans, that was more of a struggle than the Texans, statistically and just watching it. I'm going Jalen Hurts. He got the only undefeated record. He's great on third down, pass rating over 107, combined for almost 20 touchdowns. His turnovers is crazy. You want to look at Josh Allen's touchdowns? He got rushing and passing 23 to Jalen Hurts 18. He got 5 more. Cool. But he also got 7 more turnovers. 23 to 10, 18 to 3. That's a big difference. Turn the ball over can cost your team games for sure. Philly for Life said OBJ is cleared. He might be cleared, but what I'm saying is Gallup hasn't fully got back to his where he left off, and he had his injury before Odell Beckham. So my thing is, if you're complaining about one of your wide receivers not being up to speed because of a certain injury, but then you want to disregard another player that could possibly come to your team with that same type of injury is what I'm trying to say. Brad Wright, what's going on with you? Reeves said Jalen Hurts has some shaky games. His worst game of the season has not been to the detriment of the team. He hasn't had a game where he's thrown multiple interceptions. He hasn't had a game where he had multiple turnovers. We're talking about 3 turnovers in 9 games of football, 8 games of football. That's called taking care of the ball. So yes, Jalen Hurts' shaky game might be 3 touchdowns and 155 passing yards, but it's not 200 passing yards, 2 interceptions, 5 sacks taken. So again, Jalen Hurts doesn't have like the big 400-yard game, although he has a couple 300-yard games, but his worst performance is right there. It's still consistently able to get you the dub and do the right things, where you throw multiple interceptions. You have three turnovers in a game, you could be the reason, regardless if you have multiple yards, multiple rushing touchdowns. You're still possibly the reason why you're in that pickle. And that's what Josh Allen did against the Jets. The Jets are a pretty good team, though. I'm not going to count them out. For the people who've been following me for a while, y'all know that the Jets is my brother's team. So I definitely know a little bit about them. Shout out to the best rapper alive with the $2 super chat.
Eagles.
He
Eagles.
said, Hall of Fame, T.O., Scandrick, Peters, Murray, Cunningham, and Dicka. Listen, I like it. I like it. I ain't mad at it. And we got some players on this Eagles roster now that once they retire and go ahead and do the dang thing, live a couple years outside the NFL, will be being inducted to the Hall of Fame. You know, Jason Peters, who's not playing for us now, but did all his damage as an Eagle. You got guys like Jason Kelsey. Fletch might definitely get in there as well with what he is able to do in his tenure in Philadelphia. We got some future Hall of Famers, but shout out to Best Rapper Alive. Appreciate the $2 super chat, my guy. And shout out to you for naming some of the Hall of Famers that the Eagles done put up in there for sure. Now, again, you know how these live stream works. The first couple minutes, I want to, get all my points out, and then for the last 30 minutes, we go off what you guys say. I do want to pull up one more thing. Shout out to the 138 people in here. Hit that like button. The realest of the realest should be in here. There's no reason why we can't get to 100 likes. I know y'all got that in you. I want to pull up something that Devonta Smith said, and we're gonna break it down on the surface, and then we're going to break it down what the whole article said, because I do like what was spoken by Smitty. Let me pull it up for us real quick, if I could do that. Okay, so Thomas R. Peterson says, I don't think there's nowhere else I'd rather play. The city has the type of fans that you want, fans that are all into it. Not just one sport, but the city in general. The Philadelphia, that's Philadelphia, and I love it. Smitty on playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's actually look at the article on CBS written by Jeff Kerr. All right, let me pull it up. Let me move this up here. Let's do this. So the Philadelphia Eagles are the last unbeaten team in the league at 8-0, the best start in franchise history, over 90 years. Devonta Smith has played a crucial role in the Philadelphia's hot start as one of the Batmans in the Eagles' explosive passing game. Smith, 40 catches for 442 yards and 2 touchdowns on the year. This is coming off a rookie season in which he had 916 yards, blah, 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 blah. Let's get to what Smith actually said. As Smith is halfway through the year, his stats down with CBS Sports. He sat down to CBS Sports to discuss the Eagles' unbeaten start and how he's working on becoming one of the best wideouts in the NFL. Smith also discusses his relationship with Therabody, which has been a partner with him since he's entered the league. Let's get to it. Smith, I just continue to stat. Every week is different. The game plan changes. You never know. Just depends on what the teams are trying to do. I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing and keep building with the guys that we have on the offense. You never know whose games it's going to be. I just got to be in that moment and be ready when my number is called. And that's what happened. It's been a little bit of, AJ Brown game, Dallas Goedert game, Devonta Smith game. The Washington, last time we played Washington, it was 100% the Devonta Smith game. I think there was one more other game. Chat, let me know which one it was, because Devonta had the Washington game was his best game of the season. No ifs, and or buts. But there was another game where he kind of went off too. Let me know if y'all remember which one it is. Smith says the biggest thing is staying healthy. The little bruises and the things like that can come around in a long season. The season is long, so you have to stay healthy. I think that's a major step that I made this year compared to last year, and just taking care of my body more. So the question is, why do you think the Eagles are 8-0 so far? Smith says, the way this team connects, everybody is there as a team instead of worrying about individual accolades. One of the main reasons Smith says this Eagles team is different and 8-0 is because we're worried about the common goal in getting a W, not just, who got this, who got that, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. Let's continue. Let's see where I'm at. I forgot where I left off. Individual accolades, things like that. Everybody has bought into what Coach Nick Sirianni is preaching. I think that's why our record is 8-0. Our message is one game at a time. That's always been the message, even last year. things in the past aren't necessarily going to help you besides correcting your mistakes. What you did in the past doesn't matter because if you go into the next week and you don't play to the standards, you're going to lose. I give you that. At this point, being undefeated doesn't matter. It's all about going 1-0 every game. So then they asked him, "How was AJ Brown? How has AJ Brown helped your game?" Sorry, I got the font looks big for you. I got to make it bigger for me. Smith says, with us being one of the youngest receiving groups in the NFL last year, having him and Zach Pascal around has helped a lot. Just to have those guys that been there before, they've seen more than we've seen. They're small. They got small things that they're helping me out with to put into my game. AJ's game planning is big too. How he attacks the week and what he does on certain days. So, regardless of how good Smitty is, possibly a better route runner than AJ Brown already, even though AJ Brown does other things tremendously great and or better than Devonta Smith, but you can still learn off each other. A work ethic like Devonta Smith now being mentored by another work ethic in AJ Brown, who's only a little bit older than him but does have the NFL experience over him, is just something that is going to come in handy in the longevity of Devonta Smith's career. This is a Heisman winner at the wide receiver position. Hasn't happened in years, 20 plus years before it happened. What kind of vibes has Brown brought to the wide receiver group? Smith says, "Oh, AJ, AJ's funny, man. I mean, our room was already funny, but adding him has made it funnier. He's a guy that always joking, but when it's time to be serious, he's serious. He certainly brings the fun vibes every day." Were there any wide receivers you looked up to growing up? Devonta Smith said Julio Jones. He was the guy. He was who I always watched. So growing up, going through his motion of how to be the receiver he wants to be in high school and in college, he admired Julio Jones. You've been in Philly 2 years now. You've been in Philly 2 years. What has playing for the Eagles franchise meant to you? I can't read today. Smith said, "I don't think there's nowhere else I'd rather play." Well, that's what I said in the beginning. So he loves it in Philly. Even before the draft, you embraced coming to the Eagles, even before you knew the Eagles were going to trade up and get you. Why was that? Smith says, "You always heard about Philly fans and how they were. Of course, you have those people that have doubts on the fans, that they're rude and things like that. Ultimately, they just want to see you win. They just want to see you do good. If you do what you're supposed to do, the fans will love you. And we know you're going to make mistakes at times. We know that every NFL player, good or bad, makes mistakes. The good ones make fewer mistakes than the bad ones. But we support your mistakes as long as you're doing what you need to do and build a foundation." Um, Jalen Hurts has raved about Shane Steichen, and so has Justin Herbert. Oh, this is some other stuff. Oh, it's Justin Herbert with Shane Steichen with the Chargers. He's been your offensive coordinator for 2 years. What do you like about Steichen and what he brings to the offense? Smith says he helps you understand why you're doing what you're doing. He's not one of those coaches that just call something and you just don't understand why. He's going to give you a call and you're going to know why he's calling it. That's an honest part of our success. Everybody on the offense knows why we're calling certain plays when he calls the plays. It's not like, okay, why are we doing this? Everybody knows exactly what we're doing and what the objective is. Dang, this is longer than I thought. You've been involved with Therabody. Okay, that's his partnership. Shout out to Devonta Smith and his partnership. That's his partnership. And that's about it. But again, just reading this article, it's about the culture. And then he did say something on his IG. Devonta Smith did say something on his IG in the sense of, we're going to talk about this in a second, but he did say something on his IG as of, "Hey, I might not be getting all the fantasy points that you want, but I ain't worried about your fantasy league. I'm worried about the Eagles going 1-0 each week, winning games, blah, 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 blah." He's all about the culture of this team, bought into this team, and he knows that his number will be called before the season's over. Now, I also asked you guys on a community post before I went live at 6 o'clock, do you believe that we still got 9 games left? We still got 9 games of football. In them 9 games, if Smitty just duplicates what he did in the first 8 games, he's going to be he's going to be under 1,000. Do you see a scenario where in the next 9 games, he can get like 500 or 600 yards and end up getting over 1K. Does Devonta Smith get over 1K? I want to get the temperature. Let me know in the chat, yes or no. But again, Devonta Smith being a number 2 to AJ Brown, still learning the ropes of the NFL, able to have a breakout game whenever you want. That's a guy you want on the rookie deal to be your number 2, and ultimately has the skill set to be number 1. I honestly believe. Uh Our officials said, "What up? What's going on, everybody? Shout out to you for coming through. Philly for life. Talking that talk against Jay. You know how he's gonna give it up. Cowboy fans in here. They can never just be honest. They can't just be honest. I do got one more thing I want to talk about before I let the chat take this over. D-Mac said yes. Hamper said yes, he does. Texas said I say he gets that 1K. Superhero said nah, we're balanced and a deadly offense. He'll get close, but no cigar. Adam said they're going to get that 1K. Richie Rich said we're going to have 3 players with 80 catches. That's unreal. Hey, I like it. We're the only team in the NFL right now that have 3 players with 40 receptions. I reported that for sure a couple weeks ago on Twitter. Let me get this last thing pulled up, and then I'm going to let the chat take it over. For everybody talking about Jonathan Gannon's defense, and listen, I do not like the players' attitude in the run game. I mean, missed tackles are a part of the reason why we're getting gashed in the run game. But last week against the Texans and a couple other times, I did see some light boxes. I saw some light boxes, and that has to do with the coaching staff. However, look at this. Look at this stat. The Eagles' defense has held opponents to less than 250 passing yards and an 85 passer rating in each of their first 8 games of the season. The last time Philadelphia's defense accomplished that feat was in 1985 under Marion Campbell. So at the end of the day, the run defense has to be tremendously better. It has to be improved. No ifs, and or buts. But what the Eagles are doing with the tandem of Slay and Bradbury, Maddox in the slot, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Marcus Epps, Kaiser White, TJ Edwards, the back end of this defense. And you can include the pass rush because they're making the ball come out the quarterback's hands quick to get better PBUs and interceptions. All that's adding up to 8 games with 250 less yards. There's not one team that has thrown for more than 250 on us. 8 games. This is a passing league. The rules are meant for it to be a passing league. That's why we got away with some of the run defenses, because we put their team behind so much they couldn't focus on running the ball. They had to throw the ball, and you can't be successful throwing the ball on the Eagles. Under 250 for 8 straight games. No one had a better passer rating than 85. Credit Jonathan Gannon for that. Maybe it's because we got that great of secondary pieces, but the run defense has to be better for sure. For sure. Now, shout out to everybody in the chat. Glad y'all stuck with me for a minute. We got 218 people in here. We don't even got 100 likes yet. 100 gun, 100 clips. We not from New York, though. You already know. If you're walking with me on the live play-by-plays, that's what we talk about. So Lil said we're going to have 2 wide receivers with 1,000 and a tight end with 1,000. Mike, just watch. Listen, there is a scenario I can see where, Devonta doesn't quite make 1,000, but I don't think you can just say double it, double it, double it. I don't think it's exactly a science that AJ Brown through the next 9 games, if he got 700 yards through 8 games, he's automatically going to get 700 yards through 9 games. The thing is, AJ could take a back seat in certain games down the stretch where 7 plus 7 is 14. So you think he has to have 1,400 yards. No, there could be a scenario where he only gets 1,200 yards because Devonta ate back-to-back games. So I still think there's a very, very realistic scenario where you do get all 3 hovering around 1K, because Goddard is set to have 1K. He has 521 yards through the first 8 games. If you double each yardage right now, it's like 1,450. It's like 14 plus for AJ. It's like 1,050 for Goddard, and it's like 880 for Smitty. I think instead of 1,400 for AJ. I think a little bit that comes down, and I think it might be enough to just push Devonta over. We'll see. Now, who knows? The Eagles are sitting at 15-0. Maybe the coaching staff doesn't play all the starters. I don't agree with taking everybody out and letting them sit like a month of football. But who knows how the Eagles season comes down to the finish. Hey, we already got games where Jalen Hurts in the fourth quarter is chillaxing on the sideline while Gardner Minshew is playing. When you're playing games like that, well, anything is possible. So, again, we are not teams that care about statistics. Wide receiver getting over 1,000 is on our bucket list because it's been a long time. Jeremy Maclin in 14. It's been a long time. But W's is the ultimate goal. I've seen teams that have 1K rushers, 1K wide receivers, this, that, and the third, and they don't get dubs like the Eagles are. So, you know how it is. DMAC, channel member, appreciate you for subscribing to it. Would you like the idea of picking up Sue? Hey, if Howie got it in the payroll, go ahead and do what you do. I do want him to keep in the back of his mind James Bradbury, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Kaiser White, TJ Edwards, this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. You know, the 1-year deals you got to keep in the back of your mind. But Sue is an all-around pass rusher. He'll help against the run. He'll help against the pass. It will just make this D-line even better. I don't know if they will pull a trigger like that with already getting Robert Quinn, but, you know, Howie went ahead and made the deal very sweet in the sense of we only got him for 1 year anyways, unless he just does something crazily. Dakota J said, number 9, Baby Young. Young Jets are improving. Hey, shout out to the Jets. They actually are the 8th. I think they're at number 8 for the power rankings. That's my brother's team. Shout out to them. Jedi said, do y'all hear about Brown has already passed Rodgers in yards? Oh, Rager. Yeah, it's crazy. You're talking about 8 games with A.J. Brown wearing an Eagles uniform has passed everything Jalen Rager has done for the Eagles in 2 years. Crazy. A.J. Brown in 8 games has done more than Jalen Rager in 2 years. Wild. That's what happens when you get a wide receiver that is a dominant force in the NFL. He's a top 5 wide receiver. He's going to probably finish top 5, depending on how we share the ball. And like I said, how the season goes down. We not going to be a team that's blowing a team out 35-10, keeping our starters in. And if we don't do that, why will we be playing our starters heavy minutes on the back end for sure? Espo, I know it's hurts. Said our second half of the season production will be much greater than our first. We're gonna peel back the layers of the onion little at a time. Hey, I think this team on both offensive side and defense side is gonna grow. And so, you know, we should be able to put really impactful, meaningful, complete games together on teams like the Colts for sure, the Titans even. You know, we got to stop that run game, but I'm not scared of them defensively. Then you got teams like the Commanders Monday night, you know? Heineke gives us gives them a better chance, but I'm not scared. Let's talk a little bit about that match. The Washington Commanders, or the Washington blah blah blahs as I call him, are coming into the link Monday night to take on the Eagles. They sit right now at 11-point underdogs. Give me the percentage you feel that they could beat us. Now, listen, me as a fan, I could talk as much trash as I want. The players got to be the ones that keep their head on straight, don't overlook no team, this, that, and the third. That's their job. I can do the talking. But you do got to pay attention to every team, and especially if it's a division team. But there's a reason why we're 11-point favorites, double digits. Give me 0 to 100 the percent you see the Eagles slipping up and losing this game, letting Washington be our first loss. Give me the percentage. It could be as little as 0, 10. It could be close to 30, 40. And if you're a hater, you in here, a Washington fan or Cowboy fan, I know you're going to try to say like 60. It is what it is, though. I want to get the temperature. Shout out to y'all. Nostradamus, what's going on with you? Brad Wright said in 2 weeks, Eagles will be 3-4 games in the standings plus. In 2 weeks, the Eagles will be 3-4 games in the standings plus the tiebreaker over the Cowgirls. Hey, I would love that. The Cowgirls got the Packers, the Vikings, and somebody else. I want to see the Vikings start losing too. We only got a 1.5 game lead on them as we speak. Um, Sheldon said any given Sunday, respect it. Tex B said 18% chance. Joseph Tice, channel member in the building, appreciate you. He said 2%. Artificial 20. Big Chris said love my Eagles to death, but politically Philly and Pennsylvania. uh K8J Champs 35. Alex said 2. Ease Up said 35. Jose said 0%. Chung Money with the -1. You gotta love it. You gotta respect it. Um, Jo said, I'm not sure how you guys will defend OBJ with Gallup on one side. They both got one leg. OBJ and Gallup equals a wide receiver. They both running on one leg. Stop playing with me. Williams said against Wentz, definitely win if you ask me, 4%. I don't think Carson Wentz ain't playing. This is Tyler Heineke, whatever you call him. Corey said 0%. Them bums don't stand a chance. 9-0. If you saw my video yesterday, and again, this doesn't mean nothing, but it's crazy. Every single season that the Eagles found a way to win 9 straight, and you're like, Philly Mike, what do you mean? This is the first time in Eagles franchise history we won 8-0. We went 8-0. Yeah, because we're not talking about 8-0 or a 9-0. We're talking about during a 16-game season, which it was in the past. Sometime in that 16-game season, the Eagles won 9 straight 3 times. When the Eagles find a way to win 9 straight, no matter if it's the beginning or the middle or the end of the season, 3 times we did that. 2017 was the last time, won the Super Bowl. 2003, we did it, went to the NFC Championship. And way back when the Cowboys were good, in about 1960, we did it, and we won the game called the NFL Championship. It wasn't called the Super Bowl back then. But it's not to hold on to that championship like, yes, we did it 45, 50 years ago. It's to say that when the Eagles are dominant enough throughout the season to win 9 straight, we do something with it. We do something with it, and we have a team that I believe we could do something with this season. Brad Rice said, Eagles too focused. Don't want to say it, but 0%. Aisha Fox said, hard to win in Dallas when Jerry got the bag. I'm not gonna lie and say that we've been successful in Dallas over the last couple years. No, Dak Prescott has won a lot of games against the Eagles, and the Cowboys have been the better team over the last couple years. But we ain't gonna be talking about the past. We talking about the 2022 NFL season, and I honestly believe we are the better team. Do I respect their defense? 100%. It is really good. But I still respect what the Eagles can do on both sides of the ball. Jung Money with the $2 super chat. He's like, you could play the Eagles thing, but what I really want to hear is the flowers everywhere. Jung Money in the building, $2 super chat. Appreciate the love, my guy.
Flowers everywhere.
I love the flower girl. And yes, we will be live still for the Washington football game. It's Monday night, but a little bit of Crown Royal Apple will be going down. Shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat. Dat Bird said, do you think Wentz comes in the game Monday? Either Heineke gets benched or hurt, or hurt, and he gets put in the game. It will be a wild scenario. Look, Carson Wentz was scared to death, looked like a deer in headlights. Week 3, when we went to Washington and laid down 9 sacks on the Commanders. Like, Carson Wentz, healthy or hurt, he does not want to play the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly with this crowd trying to get to 9-0. He don't want to do it. If I'm the Washington blah blah blahs, I'm keeping in Heineke the rest of the season. There's nothing more I need to see from Carson. I'm not keeping him on this team. I think Carson is unless another team goes out and tries to give him a chance, the Texans, the Raiders, I don't know, a team that really and even them, they're so bad that they should be going for a quarterback this draft. I don't think Carson is a starter anymore in this league. He lost his chance. King Rue, channel member, what's up with you, my guy? Sharon said OBJ isn't co. I don't know what co means, but G-Lo said we'll be posted in the comments Monday night for show. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for tuning in. 282 people in here, 118 likes. Appreciate the love. Keep hitting the like button. Let me put that chalkboard app in the comment section so you guys can join. Like I said, it is available now for Android users. Um, we talk news, rumors, opinions 100%. As soon as something happens, either I or one of the great members in there are, talking about it. And again, it used to be only for iPhone users. It is now free for iPhone users and Android users. Let me just put it in the pin comment section. Definitely check it out. We gonna talk a little bit more about this Washington game. I want to get your takes on a couple things, and we're gonna head up out of here. You know how I do. The first 10 to 15 minutes is what I got to talk to you guys about. We pulled up some slideshows. We talked about Gannon's pass defense, the run defense. We talked about Devonta Smith's comments on playing in Philly, and we also talked about the power rankings and how the Eagles they claim the rightful spot at number one. You can always go back and check that out when this is over. Let me just put this in the pinned comment section. Hold on one second. Now I just lost it. All right, here we go. We got it. Shout out to everybody in the building though. Teresa said, "What up, fam? What's going on with you? How you feeling about this week 10 matchup against the Washington Commanders with no Carson Wentz?" With no Carson Wentz. Let me know how y'all feel about it. But like I said, join it. It's kind of like a Discord. I don't use Discord, but this is kind of like a Discord. It does have the scores for whatever sports game is on at the top, but you don't got to bet or nothing like that. You just chop it up about the Eagles. Sharon said the Cowgirls are trying to get help. I mean, they need help at the wide receiver position for sure. Lauren, L. Patrick said, "You streaming the Sixers match tomorrow? Appreciate your stream." Yes. Couldn't do it with the family being sick last game, but we will be streaming the Sixers tomorrow. JP says Dak is better at selling mattresses than getting dubs. That's crazy. Brad Wright said the Cowboys fans act like we're scared of OD. OD instead of OB. Look, Odell Beckham Jr. is a good player, no ifs, and or buts. However, you're talking about multiple injuries. The last time he played he got injured in the Super Bowl. I don't know how much. If Gallup is playing on one leg, why ain't Odell playing on one leg? Teresa said we're going to smoke them like a pack of Newports. Hey, I ain't mad at that at all. I do think that Washington this time around is going to have a different game plan in general. Curtis Samuels has been playing a lot better for the Washington football team. They're going to try to use him more for sure. They do got some weapons at wide receiver. Last time we played him, Carson Wentz held the ball way too long, couldn't get it to the wide receivers. I think Heineke, you're going to see try to come out here and get in a rhythm. Boom, boom, boom. Get the ball to guys like Scary Terry, Curtis Samuels, the rookie, Jahan Dotson, who's pretty darn solid. But this is what they're going to do different this game. They're going to try to establish the run early. The Texans came out on Thursday Night Football in front of everybody and showed that if you establish the run, you could keep the Eagles' offense off the field, thus keeping the game close in the second half, in the first half, so you have a chance in the second half. Now, yes, the Eagles went through and executed a nice second half game and beat the Texans by 12 like they should have been doing the whole game. But I think Gibson, what's the other running back's name? I forgot it. Y'all remind me in the chat. But I think that the Washington Commanders' number one game plan is going to be to try to establish the run, try to get the ball out of Heineke's hands fast. Last time we played him, it was 9 sacks. That's what bolstered our sack total up. We won't have Carson Wentz holding the ball long to help us with that sack total this time around, but I do believe we get pressure on Heineke, and he's not the guy who's going to kill you. He's not going to kill you in the passing game, but he can make some passes for sure. D-Max said, "I can't wait to see Hurts in his 4th season." Oh, he'll be winning. He'll be winning. He might have some. Listen, because this is his 3rd season in the NFL, 2nd as a starter. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. If we're talking about 4th season as a starter or 4th season in the NFL. Regardless, we can't really jump to the 4th season yet when we could be talking about jewelry on the third season. Jewelry in the third season. So we're gonna see. Oh, Dotson is on IR. Shout out to A1B4M. I forgot about that. He is. But Curtis Samuel has been stepping up. I know the referees like to get in the way. I saw that. The Vikings Commanders game, it was wild. Um, when the referee just got in the way. He just got in the way. There was 3 defenders there, and the referee pulled like 1.5 of them off. Made it that much easier for Curtis Samuels. This still was a pretty darn good catch. I don't know what Heineke saw to make him throw that. Like, Heineke throwing that, it should have been picked off. It probably would have been picked off if the referee doesn't take out the guy, but your quarterback making that decision, yeah, it paid off with a supposed touchdown. But you can't do that. You can't make that decision for sure. Fly Eagles Fly Shorts said Eagles and Chiefs prediction for the Super Bowl. That's going to be very interesting. Leon said as long as we can contain Antonio Gibson and 50 Cent Jr., Heineke doesn't scare me at all. I agree. But their game plan will differ. Carson Wentz tried to air it out a little bit early in the season, the first time we met him, but it didn't pay dividends because we were there for the sack. He held the ball way too long. I think the game plan is going to be short, intermediate passes, get the ball at your hand, but run on the Eagles. And I would love to see Jonathan Gannon come out with a game plan with a heavy box and says, Heineke, if y'all gonna have a chance, you're gonna have to be the one. You're gonna have to be the one. JT56 said it's realistic to hope for Sue. Money wise, I don't think so, but you never know with Howie. Limits Z Cos said OBJ off of 2 torn ACL. Nobody's moved. 2 torn ACLs. Great player, but can he ever get back to normal? That's the main thing. Hold up, wait a minute though. We got a super chat from my guy, Chaos the Filthy, long time supporter with the $5 super chat.
EAGLES Eagles!
Shout out to you. He said, what's good, my guy? Go Burge. Yo, my cuz here with me. He's a Cowboys fan. His name is Wes. Tell him his team is nothing compared to ours. Wes, come closer. Come a little closer. Knock it off, Wes. Look, the Cowboys are 6-2. Your defense is one of the best defenses in the game, but we also have a defense. And when it comes to offense, so far since Dak Prescott has came back, it hasn't looked much different. A couple more passing touchdowns, but you're also throwing the ball on the 1-yard line, trying to pad his stats up a little bit. Plus, you played a little bit worse teams. You want to talk about the Eagles' schedule? Well, since Dak Prescott's came back, it's been the Bears and the Lions. The Bears and the Lions. You struggle with the Lions in the first half. If y'all want to say the same things you've been saying to us, I do think Dallas is going to the playoffs. There's 3 wild card spots. But when you look at the teams, the rosters, what they've been able to do Sunday, Monday, Thursday, week in and week out, Wes, listen to Chaos the Filthy. We the better team. We proved it, and we'll continue to prove it. Once again, shout out to my guy, Chaos the Filthy, and shout out to his cousin. You know what I mean? Some people got to learn the hard way. One's a Philly fan, one's a Cowboy fan. One went the right path in life. The other one walked the long path alone. I ain't mad at it, though. Our official on the track said with the number 1 corner duo in the league, plus Matic, a top 3 slot, the Cowboys can't help themselves against us technically. Yeah, I mean, and now you're trying to say Odell Beckham Jr. and Gallup, 2 guys who are fighting back from ACLs. Now, look, CeeDee Lamb is still a good player. He's not better than A.J. Brown. Let's nip that in the bud right now. The Eagles got the best wide receiver in the NFC East. It's facts. Statistically, it'll say that. Eye test will say it. Receptions will say it. You name it, it's there. But CeeDee Lamb is still good. They just need more help. They need more help. Brother Duo said I sub. Shout out to you for subbing up. Jo said OBJ showed last year he is a Super Bowl difference maker. Last year, he wasn't on his second ACL. You see what I mean? Like, so you're saying that, and you said he's a Super Bowl difference maker. He didn't make a difference into the Super Bowl. Cowboys getting to the Super Bowl? When? I wasn't alive. I was barely alive. 96, I was 5. 5 years old. 5 years old. Chris Graham said OBJ, Lamb, Slay, Bradbury. No. Come on, Chris Graham. You know better than that. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Darius Slay and James Bradbury both allow a 38 and 36 passer rating. Like, I don't know what your test scores were when you were in high school, but a 36 is failing. It's failing. It's a F. It's a bad grade. And that's what they average against these guys. I mean, Slay last week, two times was targeted. He comes to the podium at the end and says, I was bored out there. They need to throw me a ball. They need to throw me a ball. I was bored out there. I was bored out there. We got 274 people in the building. Do your boy a favor, whether you're a hater in here, because, I be showing the love to the haters. I be letting them know the truth, though. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm going to tell you what it is. That's why you're here. You're here to hear the truth about the Eagles being the best team, not just the NFC East, but the NFC as we sit right now. But do me a favor. We need 50 more likes to get to 200. If you look down and realize you ain't hit it, hit the like button. It's free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing. And it's for all the smoke that is going to be talked about up on the screen. Shout out to Young Money with the $2 super chat.
Eagles!
Young Money said, which Birds team is better, 2022 or 2005? Are you talking about the 2004, 2005 team, right? So, the season started in 04. We played the Super Bowl in 05. Just like if we go to the Super Bowl, the season will start in 2022, but the Super Bowl will be played in 2023 of February. It's tough. I got to see how far this team goes because at least the 04-05 team got to the Super Bowl. But I'm not trying to base off what team went further because that will give you the answer right then and there. But if you look at roster going down everything, the McNabb, Jalen Hurts, that would have been my question in the offseason. Can Jalen Hurts be playing better than McNabb? And thus far, he is playing better than Donovan McNabb. Maybe that was one of McNabb's best seasons, though. So Jalen Hurts is only going to get better, not get worse than what he's portraying in 2022. But when you look around at the offensive line, you look at the wide receivers, you look at the cornerback duo, I love Jim Johnson as a play caller for sure. But I think the talent-wise, looking up and down the roster, I don't want to just throw away that 05-04 team, but I'm rocking with the 2022 Birds. I'm rocking with the 2022 Birds just because of overall roster matching up this one. T.O. and A.J. Brown. You're going to get the nod of T.O. a little bit. No doubt about it. He's a Hall of Famer. A.J. playing great. But then you look at the rest of the wide receivers, Thrash, Pinkston, Mitchell, or Smitty, Quez, and Pascal. You look at the tight end, I loved, what was his name? Chad Lewis. Chad Lewis was nice. L.J. Smith was behind him. Chad Lewis there in 04. I know he was there in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. I don't know if Chad Lewis was there in 04. I know L.J. Smith was a target that dropped the pass, McNabb to L.J. Smith that hit his hands, and then Ronnie Harrison sat on it. But yeah, going down the line, I'm going with the 22 Birds. 22 Birds. J.O. said, at 5 years old, you still remember how upset you were when Dallas hosted the Lombardi. When I was 5 years old, if somebody had the Super Bowl on in my house, I was playing with my toys. I was playing outside. Well, maybe not outside this February. I was building a snowman. What are you talking about? I was building a snowman. My life had no worries at all. Building a snowman out there. What are you talking about? Young Money said, yeah, man, agree. 2022 is the better team, in my opinion. Hey, in '04, I was 14. You know what I mean? In '04, I was 14, so I was just getting to high school, able to talk trash about my team being in the Super Bowl. We didn't get it done, but it is what it is. Chad Lewis was there. I he was, but I do remember L.J. Smith getting targets. So I mean, L.J. Smith would have had to been number 2 on the depth chart. Uh, Chad probably was hurt or something then. Oh yeah, Chad Lewis got hurt in the NFC Championship, right? He got hurt in the NFC Championship against the Falcons and didn't play in the Super Bowl. Correct me if I'm wrong. Name Brand said we were watching Rugrats. Facts, bro. I was out there in the snow. I was watching Rugrats. I was watching Nickelodeon, Nick Jr. at 5 years old. Now, Jo, how old are you? Because you probably around my age. You got the Michael Myers mask on as your default picture, right? That's what it is. Yeah, man. You like 30 son. You ain't watch your team, bro. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Teresa said the Eagles team can only be stopped by themselves. That's facts. All good teams sometimes, just shoot themselves in the foot. And my thing is like if you shoot yourself in the foot in a regular season, go ahead and correct it. Boom, boom, boom. Do what you got to do. But that's the one thing about the NFL, you know, over NBA, over MLB, over NHL. It's one and done in the playoffs. So the better team does not always win. Does not always win. In basketball and baseball, yeah. Because that just say that underdog team comes out game 1 and wins. Oh, yes. But then the better team wins 3 straight. You know what I mean? And in football, it's one and done. I'm 41. I remember all of this. Hey, I'm actually glad that I wasn't around when the Cowboys were good. 20 something years ago. I was around, but I wasn't NFL around. Joseph said, I think you're right, Mike. I'm 45. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to the 40-year-olds in here, too. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll be there sooner rather than later, Sooner rather than later. It all happens. Brother Duo said, bro, we lost 2 championships this year, soccer and baseball. Yeah, I didn't get to watch much of the Union, and I'm not big on soccer, but I paid attention to some of the highlights, the box scores and stuff. But just having 2 championships in the city of Philadelphia and losing both, need the Eagles to save the day. Need the Eagles to come through and save the day. Come through and save the day for Philadelphia. I really thought the Phillies were going to do it, though. And the reason I couldn't stream the MLB World Series is because they got Philly 500 for doing nothing wrong. So when Philly 500 warned me about it, thank God I didn't do it because I would have got copyrighted and striked and all that stuff. Old head stand up. Oh, that's right. Our knees hurt. Let's sit down. Hey, man, hey, I hear you. But look, 30, 30 ain't treating me. I got 3 kids, so I be chasing them around. So I'm staying a little bit all right, but 40's coming. It's coming for me sooner rather than later. But, as a 31-year-old, my Eagles experience has been great. It's been a lot of NFC championships while I was in high school. It's been in 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win. Great time, great time. Shout out to Joseph Robinson for joining the channel membership. Philly Talk 24/7. Appreciate you, my guy.
Eagles! Eagles!
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Look, whether you're a young Eagle fan or older Eagle fan, it's all love at the end of the day. We're going to chop it up for a little bit more. We've been live for right around an hour, 54 minutes we got on here. Jeremy said, I'm 42. Mikey, shout out from MD Eastern. Oh, wow. The Eastern Shore. Living it good over there. The weather's still nice. The weather's still hot over there, right? Rogelio said 9-0. That's the goal. Beat Washington at all costs. Beat Washington, get to 9-0. That is the goal. It's a Monday night game, back-to-back primetime games. The world just watched us beat the Texans, and they were mad. The world was mad when the Texans went down and scored 7-0. Twitter was like, oh yeah, the Eagles might. No, the Eagles are still too good. And I don't want to hear it. Oh, well, they struggled against the Texans. The Kansas City Chiefs. We just pulled it up on here. Let me pull it up one more time. Let me pull one up on time. The Kansas City Chiefs are literally, let me get it. Hold on one second. The Kansas City Chiefs are literally the number 2 teams in the power rankings. The Philadelphia Eagles are number 1 in the power rankings. Number 2 is the Chiefs. The Chiefs lost to the Colts. The Chiefs lost to the same Colts that tied with the Texans, that got beat 10-38 by the Jags. The Jags team that's trash now, the Texans team that's trash now, tied and beat the Colts. They're tanking. They're firing people. But they beat the Chiefs because the NFL is wired like that. The best teams have one game where they slip up and get beat by a pedestrian team. But when you as tough as the Eagles, you beat the 7-1 Vikings, you take care of a top 5 power ranked team in the Dallas Cowboys, who, guess what? Dak Prescott's back. They're number 5. When Dak Prescott wasn't there, they were number 5. So what's the difference? What's the difference? Prescott not there? Number 5. Prescott there? You still number 5. Yes, we beat the Lions, the Texans, the Steelers, the Commanders. But I've seen teams get beat by lesser teams because they take one Sunday off. But the Eagles are too strong, too good, too determined to take a Sunday off. But the world was watching, and the world was like, oh, wow, let the Eagles lose to the Texans. We coming. And y'all not allowed to come to us because we haven't lost one. And the whole your schedule week narrative, well, keep that narrative going because it's going to be going for a while because I don't see the Eagles losing anytime soon. Oh, you only beat the Texans. We didn't lose. Shut up. Oh, you only beat the Commanders. We didn't lose. Shut up. Oh, well, you beat the Colts. Well, we still didn't lose. Continue to shut up. Oh, but you beat the Titans. They're not that good either. Well, shut up. You're going to keep pushing this week schedule, and we going to keep telling you to shut up. The simple fact, we not losing anytime soon. They waiting for it. They praying for it. And every Monday night game, every Thursday night game, every Sunday night game, they're all going to be watching. And they all going to be in their feelings when the game's over and the Eagles are the number 1 team, or continue to be the number 1 team. Let's pull the chat back up. Shout out to everybody in the building. Dak not a difference maker. Joseph Robinson, newest channel member. Let me get you a wrench. He said, nothing but respect for you and Lord Brunson. Hey, shout out to you, bro. LB my guy. 100%. Goat Talk. We did Goat Talk, what? I want to say Saturday. We're gonna be back to making sure Goat Talk is done once a week for sure. That's my guy for sure. Fly Eagle Short says, nah, we can't be doing all that. Eugene said, going to be funny if the Packers beat the Cowgirls. The Packers are stooped so low. I don't see it, but I will enjoy it. I don't see it, but I will enjoy it. They do have a little back and forth going. If it is in Dallas, which I'm not sure because I don't pay attention to it like that. Cowboy fans will think I do, but I don't. Rodgers does play good in Jerry World, and he's been playing bad. It's not just the Packers. Rodgers has played bad himself. He has. 33 Enzo Bot. Shout out to you. Go check his channel out. Subscribe to him. I think he said he got 40 subscribers. Let's get him to at least 50 subscribers. We need 15 more likes. I know we got some MVPs in the chat. We're going to chop it up a little bit more. We right around an hour. We need 14 more likes. Come on. Let's get them last couple likes. I know we could do it. Witch King said they're going to act like their team won the Super Bowl if/when we lose. Yeah, I like how you put that if in there. I don't think it's going to be for a while. Like, you can't sleep on a team like the Titans with the way Derrick Henry's running for sure. But there's different levels to everything. And like I say, being a team that is still undefeated, no matter who you play, is important. Just look at the Colts beating the Chiefs. If the Colts play the Chiefs 5 more times, the Chiefs will dust them off every other time. But they let their guard down once. And you can say, well, the Colts were better early in the season. They tied to the Texans and got dog walked by the Jags. Two teams that are in the top three for the worst team in the NFL. It happens. Not to the Eagles. I Shine 101 in here. Hey, we just about to get up out of here. Shout out to you. Make sure you got that notification turned on. We've been live for about an hour and 30 seconds. We talked about the power rankings. We talked about Devonta Smith's comments on Fantasy League, loving Philly, and his mindset. We talked about the Washington Commanders a little bit, but you know how I give it up. The first 10 to 15 minutes is my couple bulletin points, and then the rest of it is we talk about the bulletin points, but wherever the chat takes us is wherever the chat takes us. Wherever the chat takes us. LB made me a believer in Hurts 2 years ago. Joseph, shout out to you. Rogelio said, can I be a channel member? This is the kid that said again showed up in the Chargers pregame. A channel member, a wrench is a moderator. Channel member is you signing up. That's on you. Zachary said, people think the Eagles are frauds, bro, and I hate it. We have the best offensive players, the best defensive players, and one heck of a quarterback, Jalen Hurts. I don't care. We played good against anybody. And that's what you got to hold your hat on, hang your hat on. We beat the teams we were supposed to beat, and we beat a couple top-tier NFC teams in the process. And as I said, and this is going on Twitter, right after I get off here, follow your boy on Twitter. Right here it is, at Philly_Mike25. We talk Eagles all day, every day there. And plus, if you got an Android phone or iPhone phone, Android phone, iPhone, Apple user, click the link. It is now available for Androids. We chop it up in there 24/7 about the Eagles. Good stuff. Like I said, it's like a Discord. Download it. Now, if you have an Android, you could do it too. If you want to ask me a question, I answer questions in there. Plus, the chat is deep. Eagle fans will let you know anything you need to know. iShine said, facts, my guy. Appreciate the dialogue, bro. Appreciate you for tuning in. Vermont Williams, what up? What's going on with you? Aisha Fox said, let's go Eagles. Get to 9-0. You already know. J.O. said, did you guys see you are the favorites to win against every team for the rest of the season but Cowboys and Jerry World? Last I checked, we were 2.5-point favorites to beat you in Jerry World. So either they changed it or you might have overlooked it. Or you're just saying it because you're not fully sure. But we were definitely favorite last time I checked. Fred said the Cowbums fans, the ones talking about our schedule, and theirs ain't any more impressive than ours. And they got 2 losses. And they look like the same team, whether it's Rush, Prescott, Dak, Cooper. I don't even care. Joseph Robertson said, hey, my guy Mike, what do you think about them saying we have the easiest schedule and that's the only reason we're 8-0? I talked about it. There's no such thing as an easy schedule. If that was the case, the Chiefs would have never lost to the Colts. But on that topic, we beat the 7-1 Vikings and the 5th ranked power, the 5th power ranking team Cowboys at the time. Oh, but they had Cooper Rush. Well, now you got Dak Prescott and you're still number 5 in the power rankings. So not much big of a difference. Fact is, Cooper Rush through 4 games didn't throw no interceptions, but the Eagles defense was too good and made him throw 3 interceptions. We scored the most on that Cowboys defense until the Bears put them, that 30 points on there. But Joseph, the Eagles are winning games differently, dominantly in their own way because each win is different. We played the rainy game. We played the rushing game. We played the sack game, the interception game, the methodical game, the deep shot game, the passing game, the rushing game from our quarterback. We've won multiple different ways, and that is a good thing to have under your belt come a sticky situation in the playoffs, which is going to be here sooner than later. With that being said, I appreciate everybody in the building. We got 211 likes. Make sure y'all have that notification bell hit so when I go live, you could be here, maybe not right away like true notification gang, but in the first 10 to 15, 20 minutes so we can talk to each other, chop it up. I try to answer as many questions as I can. Name Brand said, players for player, we got the best team in the league. That is facts. Artificial said, until the games are played, they can only be predicted. So no such thing as an easy schedule. Facts as well. Michael said we should replace Covey with Devin Allen. I ain't mad at giving it a shot. But until next time, subscribe, like, ding the bell, check out this app. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to have to put a statistic in the app. We chop it up there all the time. And it's free, easy, don't cost a thing. We are out. Peace. Oh, Philly Big Fish. I will be streaming the Sixers game tomorrow. Peace.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking Sixers in the Bird Gang, that's our life. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we scream and fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Yeah, this is Philly